So first of all, what I want to do is I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. As you know, the BIG, the Big Idea Group, this is where everybody, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business, this is where we want you to come to meet and greet with people with like minds. We want you to be able to hear people in different aspects of business to kind of help you understand how to mold your own business or how to shape your business idea. So tonight we have Bob Coleman. He's the principal at Rima Marketing, over 20 years experience in web design and development and social media marketing. I want Bob to be able, and this is one of the things that I think is always a challenge for any small business person. So I want to first give you a scenario where you're a person who absolutely feels savvy with technology, but you don't necessarily talk about it in terms of how you use it for business. And so when we look at it, how we do it socially, how we're able to keep up on current events using social media, how we use it to express ourselves, we don't necessarily see how to create strategic opportunities to promote a business, a service, or a product. And so I'm going to have Bob talk to you about this tonight. And you might be surprised on some of the things that he's going to say, but you should really say, aha, those are the things I need to consider. And I'm saying this because as most of you who are taking on starting your own business, or you're thinking about starting a business, we always see social media as the inexpensive digital media, let me put it that way, as the inexpensive way of getting your marketing done and being able to promote yourself and create awareness. What happens though is you find yourself dealing with time constraints. Your bandwidth gets challenged, right? And so I think with Bob tonight, you're going to find some things that he's going to tell you that's going to be real make you aware of some of the things that you need to consider. And it's going to be eye-opening in terms of some of the things that you may think about. And he's going to give you more practical ways to understand how to make those things work. So what I'm going to do now is I want to turn it over to Bob to introduce himself, tell you a little bit more about his background, and talk about digital media.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, great. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about me because Kevin did a pretty good job introducing me. But the focus of my digital marketing experience has really been on small and medium-sized businesses, and with a real emphasis on solopreneur businesses, those that don't have, staffs of people that they can just delegate to and say, I need you to go out and post this, I need you to build that. Most of the small business owners that I work with are really in the solopreneur, or maybe they have one or two people working with them. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight. I'm going to share some information that I've gleaned over the years regarding this whole digital marketing landscape. So as everyone here is aware that during the pandemic, anything that had to do with digital just, really blew up. So 10 years ago, if you had a business, you could operate without a website per se. People might think that you were old fashioned or you were old school, but you could still run a business and not have necessarily a digital footprint or digital visibility. Today, that's all but impossible. You have got to have your brand online, because if someone Googles you and they cannot find you, then essentially you do not exist as a business. How many people here remember the yellow pages? Just raise your hand. You remember what a yellow page was, right? So, Donnelly and Company would throw those on your porch or leave them on the landing. And that's how we found businesses. We would, if you needed a plumber, you go to the P's, go to the page. The ones that had the big ads or that had brand recognition, those are the ones that you might select. But today there is no yellow pages. When's the last time someone here actually used the yellow pages to find a business? How about this? When was the last time you used one of these devices? Every day, right? So one of the things that we have to understand is that regardless as to whether we agree with technology, technology is not going to stop because you say, that's not my thing, or I don't think anyone's going to really buy into that. I've had a Twitter account since Twitter first began. All right, I've got several Twitter accounts. When I first signed up for my Twitter account, I had no idea what a tweet was, but it was something that was happening, so I signed up for the account. Now I really understand it's Twitter is micro blogging. So this device has revolutionized and changed the world, and that is the cell phone. So your digital marketing or any marketing that you're doing has to be able to reach people on a device such as this, the cell phone. So I'm going to share my screen in a couple seconds here and just give you kind of an overview of where the digital landscape is right now. And let me do it this way. I'll do this and get going. Hopefully you guys can see this. And feel free to, if you guys put your questions in the chat, I will certainly respond to them. So this presentation is a little bit dated, but based on our discussion tonight, I think that it will allow us to segue into the important topics quite easily. And this was entitled Adapting Your Business to the Digital Future. And this presentation was directed to folks just like you. So here's my background: web strategist. I'm a speaker, a trainer. I'm a WordPress enthusiast, digital marketer. So about 60%, 70% of the income that I generate comes from websites that I own and marketing that I do online. I am the principal of Raymond Web Marketing, and we are a digital marketing agency. I also do consulting work with Entrepreneur Works, the Welcoming Center of Pennsylvania, the Commerce Department of Philadelphia. So I do a bunch of stuff, but digital marketing is really my passion. So marketing in a COVID-19 world. So some problems go away if you ignore them long enough. However, COVID-19, which was a huge problem for businesses everywhere, it was impossible to ignore, and it's changed the way businesses executed everywhere. So nonetheless, a lot of owners and managers have failed to shift their marketing strategies to accommodate this temporary, but it may be a permanent new normal. You can't stop the technology from advancing. If you want to sustain and increase your business in the future, you're going to have to adapt to this revolution right now. I'm sure everyone on this call realizes this. So exactly what is digital marketing? So digital marketing encompasses all marketing efforts that use an electronic device or the internet. Businesses can leverage digital channels such as the search engine, social media, email, their own websites to connect with current and prospective customers. So digital marketing includes a whole bunch of things such as search engine optimization, content marketing, social media marketing, pay-per-click, which is paid ads, whether you're doing it on Facebook or Google, affiliate marketing, native advertising, marketing automation, email marketing, online public relations, inbound marketing, and sponsored content. Those are the 10 or 11 areas that digital marketing really focuses on. And I'm going to really concentrate on the ones that are bolded because we don't have time in 45 minutes to go through all of these. So I'm going to talk about what I believe are the areas that you should focus on as a small business owner, things that you can control. And then I'm going to share some tips and tools with you quickly that will help you sort of grasp and understand why these things are important and how to begin to utilize them. So search engine optimization is often not embraced with the type of love and passion that it should be because search engine optimization tends to be expensive. It can also be time consuming, but it is the most effective and long-term beneficial thing that you can do if you own a website. And I hope everyone here owns their own website and is not relying on social media channels for their brand, for their marketing. You can certainly use social media for marketing and for branding, but everyone should have their own website because that's the only asset. And all of these are assets that you actually control. I don't know whether you saw in the news today, but over in Russia, they shut down Facebook Metaverse. Literally, they just came in, they went to court, and Facebook was shut down. So anyone who markets in that area of the world and was using Facebook as a means to reach customers or expand their brand, it's just been closed. It's been shut off. And this is one of the challenges that I explain to business owners about social media. For all of its power, you don't own it. You don't control it. I've, in the last 20 years, I've opened many accounts where it was what's known as a Web 2.0 or Web 3.0. So Web 2.0 is if you own an account on a platform, say like Blogger or WordPress.com or any of these other sites that pop up and say, hey, you can get a free account and put yourself up here. You can do that, but they own your content. So if you read the terms and services of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any of those platforms that you put your content on, they own your content. Okay, and they can do with your content whatever they want to do with the content, which means they can take it down. They can use it for their own purposes to monetize it, and you have no say. You give them that consent when you sign up for the account. You register it, and they say, you know, I'm sure everyone here has signed up for an account. You see that page; it has all the terms of agreement. You know, it's in small letters. It's in legalese, and you typically scroll right by it. You click the little tick off box on either side and hit this accept button. Once you hit the accept button, you've given them pretty much the rights to your content. Your own website you own. As long as you have a registered domain name and you pay for your hosting, it's up forever and ever and ever and ever. Okay, you own that. You don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram, you don't own TikTok or any of those other platforms. So I always advise people to get their own website. We were talking about search engine optimization. Okay, I'm assuming everyone here has a business or is looking to start a business or they're looking to grow their business. So one of the things we have to understand about digital is people have a certain intent when they go online. Okay, how many people here use Google? How many people here use Yahoo or been on Yahoo or Microsoft Bing? All right. So the only true search engine in the world is Google. When you go to Google, you see one thing. What is that? Anybody know? When you log into Google, what do you see? Somebody tell me.
Hello. It's Jenny here. And when I go to Google and I search businesses, one thing I like to look for is reviews.
Okay. So that's great because that's the type of search intent that we're going to talk about. One of the things, the answer I was looking for was this. When you go to Google, all you see is this. Everybody see my screen?
Yep.
That's it. Google is a search engine. You don't see any news on here. You don't see any pictures on here. You don't see any advertisement on this particular page. When you come to this page, the only thing you can essentially do, unless you have a logged in account. So I'm logged into my account and I can see my Gmail access here, my images and other stuff, and there's my image. But if you go to Google straight up, all you see is the search button, the search bar. Now, there are, and this is what's important for you guys who are business owners and you're doing digital marketing, is to understand intent. What is your intent, or what is the intent of the person that you're trying to attract to your business? Because if you don't understand intent, then your marketing is going to be off. All right, there's 4 types of intent. There's what's known as informational intent. Okay, informational intent. Came home and walk in the living room and there's water coming out of my ceiling. What am I going to be Googling for? An emergency plumber. A plumber that can come out right now. I don't need to make an appointment to see the plumber next week or tomorrow. I got water pouring out the ceiling. I'm Googling 24-hour emergency plumber. That's an intent. Okay. If I'm shopping for Christmas and my child says, hey, can you get me the latest game system, whether it's the PS5, which just came out, or PS4, or any of those things, okay, you might search for what is the cost of a PS5. That's an informational intent search. Now, when you go to buy the PS5, you may go to Amazon, Walmart, to their websites and put in the brand and the model number. Now you're doing what's known as a commercial intent search. You have decided that I want to buy something. You're looking for the best price. That's a commercial intent. Then you have what's known as navigational intent, where people come to your website, they're looking for your services, they're looking for your location. Then you have what's known as transactional intent, where you're moving people down the funnel. But you have to understand the intent when you're marketing online. So most of the time when I go to Facebook, what I see is, especially of small businesses, I see them making a lot of what's known as transactional or commercial intent posts. They're putting up stuff that says, hey, come to my hair salon. Hey, come to this. Hello, I'm so-and-so. I have the best XYZ. Use my business. Whereas that's not how most people buy. Less than 4% of the people that come to a e-commerce store online make a purchase the first time they come there. Less than 4%. So if you're sending 1,000 people a month, if 1,000 people a month are coming to your platform, less than 40 of them are going to actually buy something online. What people are looking for initially is for you to solve their problem, for you to provide them information that says, I have a problem. So in the example I used previously, you walk in the house and the ceiling is leaking, you're looking for a 24-hour plumber. That's why when you go into your phone and you do the search, what comes up is Google understands where you're located. They know the area that you're in, and they're going to pull up plumbers located around your zip code. And if that plumber has done their optimization correctly, they're going to appear in what's known as the 3 box. How many people on this call have a business that has a physical location? Actually has a physical location. Or if you don't have a physical location, you provide a service where the person doesn't have to come to your location. You can just drop that in the chat. And I'm going to show you the quickest and easiest way to get eyeballs, phone calls, and traffic to your business, and it's 100% free. And you can do this. You can do this tomorrow, and you can start generating phone calls, eyeballs, and traffic to your business. So let me do it this way. And then I'm going to show you this. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. This is a type of search, vegan meal delivery, Greenbelt, Maryland. All right. I have a client who's been a client of mine for about 7 years. She was previously in Philadelphia. She ran a business called Night Out Vegan. She also ran Naturally Sweet Desserts. Okay. These were a vegan dessert service and a vegan meal delivery service in the city. She never had a location. She used commercial kitchens to cook the food, and then she would deliver it on the weekends herself. Her business generated over $60,000 a year, and she did all of that from her website, working on the weekends, preparing food. All right. This is her website. I'm just waiting for this to load up. This is her website. She recently moved to DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. This site used to say Night Out Vegan Philadelphia. In the last few days, I redid this to reflect the DC, Maryland, and the Virginia area. So now it's Night Out Vegan DMV. This is SEO. This is telling people where she's located. DMV is a term that is recognized by Google to represent DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Delicious plant-based meals delivered. None of this, this is just a basic website concept. She's going to start in May 22. Again, greater DMV area. Here are specific locations: DC, Greenbelt, Hyattsville, Maryland, Alexandria, and Arlington, Virginia. Okay. Then examples of the food. Here's the service: weekly plant-based meal delivery. Build your meal, we deliver. Have a question. Here's another key item. Now, if you have a website and you're not collecting information from people who come to your website, you're missing a huge opportunity. And this is all going to lead up to what I was telling you about. I'm going to give you a tip on a free way to get eyeballs, traffic, etc., to your site. Okay. Have a question about our meals, catering, or wholesale services? Go here. If I click on this, we haven't installed it to the site yet, but it still works. And she's already started getting inquiries about her business. I'm using a service called Cognito. Here's her meal service, Night Out Vegan meal service request form. Just ask the questions. Are you transitioning to vegan? Are you actually a vegan? Name, last name, email, phone number. Any foods you're allergic to? What are you interested in? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Anything else we should know? How did you find out about it? Very simple. People fill this out, click the button. They're automatically added to her email marketing list. Whether you use MailChimp, Constant Contact, any of those services, MailerLite, this automatically puts these people who make an inquiry on her list, and she starts sending them out emails on a regular basis until they become customers. Going on down, right now, she's not actually open. So what we did was we linked her images to her Instagram account, but we have some images on the page. Here's the other thing it allows her to do: social proof. Here's what our customers have to say. These are 5-star ratings. She didn't make these up. These are not fake. They're coming straight from her Google My Business account, which is what we're going to be talking about. These are people who are actually her customers who went on Google and gave her a rating. All right. Her story. This is the front page of her website. All right. If you search for vegan meal delivery, Greenbelt, Maryland. I'm not in Greenbelt. I'm in Pennsylvania. So I'm using this as a geographic locator. She has not opened her doors yet. Here's a free box on Google. There's her business, Night Out Vegan. She's #1 in Greenbelt. Hyatt. If I do this for Hyattsville, that's Greenbelt. I'm gonna do this in real time. Here's Hyattsville. Night Out Vegan. She hasn't opened her doors yet. She's not opening until May. She's ranking #1 in the 3 box. When you go on your phone and you say vegan meal delivery near me, her business comes up #1. It has a 5-star rating, delivery restaurant. Here's where her location is. She's cooking out of a commercial kitchen. She hasn't even moved into this place yet. But she's already on the first page of Google, all right? She's in the 3 box, which is the first thing you see when you do a search for a business. That's what pops up on your phone, this. Under the ads, this pops up. People click these before they click anything else. Even though she's not in, she hasn't started ranking yet in the normal search. Actually, she has. There she is right there. So for that search term, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's #10. She's still on the first page of Google for her website. She just moved it. She's not even open yet. What I would recommend to all of you, if you have a service or you have a physical location, is to sign up for Google Business Profiles. Google Business Profiles is free. It's absolutely free. You go to Google, you can either search for Google My Business. It'll come up. Google Business Profile, they just changed their name about 6 weeks ago. All right, Google Business Profile, get listed on Google. You click here, it's going to take you over to the registration page. You simply go over, and most of us here are familiar with filling out forms. You go to this page, stand out with Google with a free, notice the key operative word here, free business profile.
Okay,
Does
okay,
this
okay.
work?
So hold up 1 second. You know what? I got to tell you, Bob, you giving a lot of good stuff. So I want to break in right here.
Okay.
And I know everybody's sitting in front of a computer. I want everybody to go to this spot where he is right now. Because when this is over, this is your next step. You need to go ahead and have your business listed for on the Google business profile. And if you don't have yourself ready to be listed, at least make sure that you understand exactly where you need to go bookmark it, because this is going to be critical for how you actually get awareness for your business model. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. That was a good observation. So basically, Google is the largest search engine in the world. Period. They perform. I'm going to give you the number because I don't want to misquote it. They perform. Google processes 3.8 billion searches a day, 40,000 search queries per second. Let that number sink in. Every second, they're processing 40,000 search queries. The other thing about Google is Google will tell you everything you need to know to get business. So I'm going to sign in. I told Kevin that I'm sort of a hands-on person. I don't believe in showing people stuff that doesn't work. So here's Night Owl Vegan. These are some customers of mine, small businesses. Here's Night Owl Vegan. We're going to just go in and we're going to look at their GMB, the results. All right. So this is the back end of what you would see, and the owner of this business has no problem with me doing this. They know that I sometimes showcase their business, in case you're wondering. But this is the back end, home, post, info. As a matter of fact, for the people who are on this call, okay, if you're on this call, I will give you guys, since you were so kind to show up tonight, I'll give you my How to Set Your GMB Account Up ebook that I normally sell for $47. I'll give it to you for free tonight because you guys showed up and you're taking action. It'll show you step by step everything you have to do to set your account up with pictures and all that checklist. It'll do all that for you, and you don't have to worry about scratching your head and trying to figure out how this works. The most important thing about Google and digital marketing is it's measurable. It's measurable. You can get information and see what's working. So remember, this business hasn't opened yet in Maryland. Okay. Here's how many. These are her insights for the last month. How customers search for your business. This is how they search for the business. 132 knew the business name and typed nightowlvegan.com in the search engines. 4,438 people discovered the business profile by searching for a category, a product, or service. Remember, we started off in this conversation talking about your intent is very important. So 4,438 people, or 96.5% of the people, discovered her business simply by searching for a category of product or service. And only 29 people discovered it through a branded search result, because she's a small business. She's not Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Chick-fil-A. She's a small business. So brand awareness we're not expecting her brand to have that kind of awareness. But the important number is discovery. And then when we scroll down, 75 people came to the website. One person called her already. All right. These are numbers that can be translated into actionable data. All right. The other thing that this platform will give you is a website hosted by Google. All right. So if we view this site, this is not a gorgeous site, but guess what? It gets visits and it gets ranked, and it's owned by Google. It's a Google property. And it allows her to showcase her business in another place. Here we go. This still says Philadelphia. She hasn't even changed it over yet. All right. Those are the posts. So my point is, the long and short of it is, this is a free service provided by Google. Costs you absolutely nothing. Okay. Absolutely nothing. It works. All right. Now I showed you one example, and you guys can be saying, you guys can sit there and say, well, you know, he showed us one example, you know, so what? That one probably works. But that may be the ringer. You know, he may, you know, be pulling something slick here. You never know. So let me show you another example in a totally different industry. All right. Here's another client. She owns a pet styling boutique, mobile. This is a mobile pet grooming boutique. Her dog grooming salon had to shut down during the pandemic. All right. Here is her insights for her business. This is a totally different business. Direct, people who actually typed in the business name, 576. Discovery, 6,245. Branded, 30. We scroll down, she had 237 visits to the website, 7 requests for directions, 81 people called her. 81. That's traffic. Those are people who want to do business. She closes 70% of the people who call her salon. She's not running paid ads. She's not putting newspaper advertisements out. This is a free platform that Google gives her. People call her business, okay, and she books them. She has 3 mobile vans that go all over Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley, and they groom dogs and cats and rabbits and whatever other type of pet that they have. That's based on intent. Okay, she has been her business actually increased during the pandemic. She's booked 3 months in advance. If you want to get a so if I do mobile pet grooming in Philadelphia, we'll try Philadelphia. Her physical location is actually in Upper Darby. All right. So if we come down, there's her business right there. So out of 96 results, this is the first page of Google. Because her business is physically located in Upper Darby, I don't expect her to come up for Philadelphia, but her actual website, there it is right there. Avery's Pet Styling Boutique and Salon. This is her business. So when you do the numbers, when you crank out the numbers, right? Let me see. I think she has her prices on here. A full service session is like $135, $145. Okay, and this one's like $125. So let's just do some average numbers. Let's say that 81 people called her. All right. 8 times 7 is what, 56? We'll make it easy. So 80 people called her. She closes 70% of the people. That's 56 people. Multiply 56 times 100. That's $5,600. That's just one source. That's not the people who don't go to Google. That's not her repeat customers who are on her mailing list. That's just in 1 month, the people coming through Google My Business who called her up on the phone and said, hey, can I book an appointment? That's 100% free service that Google's given to you. If you have a physical location, you're a restaurant, a beauty salon, daycare, whatever your business is, you should be on Google Business Profiles. If you have a service-oriented business where you're offering a service where you go to your customers, you don't have to have a physical address. You can still have a Google Business Profile. Okay? And when you can encourage people to leave reviews so that you can get real honest reviews to put on your website or other places where you market, okay? So that people have social proof that you are who you say you are and your business does what you say, your business says it does. because people want social proof. When you go to Amazon, if you're an Amazon Prime member, or you go to Amazon, what's one of the first things you look at before you buy something?
Reviews.
The reviews, the star ratings. 622 people said this product was crap. Next, I'm not buying that. Okay. A lot of times when you're a small business owner, a lot of your focus is on the selling aspect. What you want to focus on is demonstrating to people that you can solve problems, that your business solves problems and can help their life. And guess what? When you do that, they will do business with you. Because people are bombarded all the time with, when your brand velocity gets to the point where you're a PepsiCo or you're a Coca-Cola or you're a brand like that, Coca-Cola, the CEO of Coca-Cola wrote an article or an op-ed about 5 years ago, and he basically said this: Coca-Cola does not care if it gets any new customers.
Nope.
That's not why they advertise. They advertise to keep the customers they have. That's it. They're the largest bottler in the world. Everyone here is probably over 21. Anybody ever went into a bar or a club and asked for a rum and Pepsi?
No.
Coca-Cola doesn't advertise for new customers. They advertise to maintain the customers that they have. Okay. PepsiCo is number 2. There's only one company in the history of the world that was number 2 and used that to their advantage. Anyone here know what company that is? You all may not be old enough.
Number 2.
They were number 2, and they used that in their marketing pitch. I'll help you.
I'm gonna say Dr. Pepper.
Nope. Avis.
Oh, that's right.
Avis is the only company that pulled that off. They said in their marketing, we're not number 1, but we try harder. That was their marketing pitch, and it worked for them. No one else has been able to use that since Avis did that. And I don't even know if Avis is still in business, but they did that for a long time. Okay, so that's the first thing. Understand your intent. Why are you doing this? Second thing is understand your customers. If you have not created a persona of your customers, okay, you are missing a huge opportunity. As a matter of fact, your business probably has multiple personas if you're selling a product or delivering a service. Okay, who is your audience? I talk to a lot of business owners who say, well, I'll sell to anybody, or I'll sell to everybody. Everybody is not your customer. Okay? Everybody's not your customer. So let me give you an example. How many of you here have ever shopped at the Gap? Okay. What other store does the Gap own? Anybody?
Old Navy.
I was
Old
just about
Navy.
to say Old Navy.
And
Old
banana.
Navy. And Banana Republic. Okay.
Mhm.
Gap is their high-end store. Okay. You go into Gap, their jeans are $50, $60, $70. But you go to Roosevelt Mall, Cheltenham Mall, go out to Montgomeryville, there's more people going in Old Navies than they're going in Gap. Okay. But it's one company that one company owns both stores. They're giving variety. There's a different type of person that goes into the Gap than who goes into Old Navy. Here's another example. A Rolls Royce, what's the new one? Phaeton or Silver Cloud, whatever it is. Those cars start off at like $300,000. BMW 750 IL. You can get one maxed out for under $150,000. Rolls Royce owns BMW, or BMW actually owns Rolls Royce. the low end Rolls Royce is built on the 750i platform. One car costs over 300,000. One car costs 150. What's the difference? It's the intent and the perception, which also speaks to the prices that you may be charging. If you don't project your brand a certain way, okay, there's a difference between a luxury brand and an everyday brand. Because a BMW 750i, or whether you buy a Hyundai or Rolls Royce, they're all cars. They'll get you from point A to point B. It's just how you want to get there and how you want to feel while you're getting there. Okay, so we talked about intent. We talked about Google business profile. The other thing I want to talk about very briefly is generating customers, getting leads. I said earlier that less than 4% of the people who come to a website, whether that website be your own website, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're marketing your business, less than 4% of those people are going to buy anything from you the first time they come there. So let's do another math problem. 1,000 people come to your site, wherever that site is, in a month. Let's say you get off 4%. How many people is that?
400. No, 40. Sorry.
That's 40,
Yeah.
right? So out of 1,000 people, you verified that 1,000 people came to your location, but only 40 of those people made a purchase. What happened to the other 960 people?
They're indecisive and wandering.
Okay, so they came, 1,000 people came to your website, 40 bought something, the other 960 bounced. How do you get those 960 people to come back to your website? You don't.
Offer incentives.
If you offer an incentive, they might come back. But the vast majority of people have no mechanism to capture the people who don't buy. There's more people not buying. Remember I said, the first time they come to your website, they don't buy. Which means that you have to have people come back to the website multiple times to get familiar with your brand, to trust you, to understand, okay, this product or service might be for me. You have to send people, just by a quick show of hands, or you can put it in the chat, how many people here actually have a website? Okay, so Tori has one. I can't see everyone because some of them are blocked, but okay, so Rebecca, Alicia.
I should say it's being built.
Okay, so Tori has one, Dara, Antoinette. So quite a few of you have a website. If a mistake that you could be making, I'm going to say a mistake that most people make, is when they advertise their website, especially on social media, and they're promoting their website, they send people to the homepage. Yeah, I got a website. It's www. blah, 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 blah. What you should be sending them to is the landing page. The landing page simply says, here's what we do. If you're interested in some free information about what we do, I'll send you a free ebook. I'll send you a free, I'll give you a coupon. I'll provide you with a link to a discount. All I need from you is your name and your email address. Just tell me where you want me to send it. Now you've put that person onto a mailing list. Another question. I ask a lot of questions. Here's a question. Anyone here ever bought anything from Prime? Amazon Prime?
Yep.
When you signed up to become a Prime member, did they ask you for your Facebook page?
Nope.
Did they ask you for your Instagram login?
Nope.
Your TikTok account information? What did they ask you for?
Your email address.
They ask you for your email address and a password. Amazon's the largest e-commerce business in the world. And how does Amazon communicate with you when an order is processed?
Email.
They don't send a Facebook Messenger text to you. They don't text you. They send you an email saying, Ms. Williams, hi, Tori, we just processed your blah, 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 blah. So why do we think that having a social media presence is going to be better, excuse me, than what Amazon, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Home Depot, their business model is built on having your name, and your email address, because they know that most people keep an email address once they have one forever. So why aren't we doing that in our own business? Collect the email address, okay? Because when I send people, and in my signature on my email, I don't have my website address. I have this right here. And then I'm gonna take some questions. We'll go. They go to freeconsult.raymondwebmarketing.com. This is a landing page. There are no links on this. It doesn't say home, contact us, about us, services. There's nothing on this page except for information about the business. Here's a short video. Get a free 30-minute consultation. Enter your information below. We'll contact you in 24 hours. Boom, boom. That's it. I'm not sending them to my website where they're going to get lost, confused. They're going to drown in information. Then they're going to say, well, you know, I'll come back to this tomorrow. It's too much to consume right now. I don't know. My call to action here is this. Your call to action might be a discount coupon. It might be, percentage off or whatever. It might be a free guide. But this is the most important thing to get, because once I have this information, I can send you other information to entice you to come back to my website. First email, say, hey, thanks for signing up for the free 30-minute consultation. When would you like to schedule it? Please put your information. I'm gathering data. I send out a Google form. These are all free things, Google form, that ask 5 or 6 questions about their business. Okay, these are things that you can do. They're free. It all begins with intent. Intent. The big takeaway this evening, the big takeaway is the Google Business Profile. That can start getting you, even if you don't have a website, that can start getting you phone calls, eyeballs, and money, literally overnight. I showed you 2 examples. Okay, each one of them had thousands of visitors searching for their business, and it showed you how people were interacting with the business. And I showed you one that isn't even open yet, and they're on the first page of Google for their business. So when they open in May, their business will blow up, and they're already getting phone calls and inquiries. Okay, that's just positioning your business to be able to effectively market online. So I'm open to take some questions. I think I've been talking long enough. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Come on, you guys. I know you got questions.
My
Get 'em away,
question is,
Captain.
how do you register for this Google business account?
I put it in the chat.
Okay,
I'll put it in there again. I'll copy it again. There is, you go
Chat.
to just Google, just go into Google and Google My Business. Search for Google My Business. I'll put it in the chat again. Hold
Joe
on.
just put it in. Joe just put it in.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's how you would do it. And as I said,
Okay.
I'm going to make available a guide that will show you step by step how to set that up and get going. If that's all right with Kevin and Joe.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
It's no cost
Mr.
to you
Coleman,
guys.
thank you for
You
this
know.
evening. I had a question in regards to your services. Once the 30-minute consultation is over with, I'm assuming, maybe I shouldn't, that you will provide a proposal for the work that you can do for an individual business. Is that how you work? And if
That's how
so,
I
do
work.
you work by service by the hours or by the whatever you do for that individual?
It's usually on a case-by-case basis, depending on the business. But normally what we do is we create a proposal based on a project. And what I normally do is break that project down into phases.
Excellent. You'll be hearing from me tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
When Antoinette says you will be hearing from her, you will be hearing from her. Trust me.
Cool.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
So go ahead, Thad.
Yeah, I have a unique bit. It's kind of unique. I offer mortgage banking services for, not for home buyers, but for investors who want to do flips and fix ups and stuff like that.
Right.
So what would be my strategy to advertise that business?
Do you have a website?
No, I do not.
Okay, so that one of the things that financial businesses in the financial services sector do is they offer free calculators. They offer, so in other words, if you were trying to figure out, you know, right now the Fed just is going to, the interest rate for mortgages went up to 4%. So anyone who's interested in buying a house right now.
Well, which pants are we doing? This one, unicorn
Hey,
pants, great.
Rebecca,
Yes.
you gotta mute yourself. Sorry.
All right, sorry. I gotta
No problem.
find you guys back. I was on Google search.
There you
So anyone who is looking for a mortgage or doing financial service or any type of financial service, they generally are looking for a calculator. Okay. How do I, you know, because they're not doing this in their head. It's compound interest, et cetera, et cetera. So you offer them something that's going to help them. So in your particular case, you have specialized knowledge, but there's lots of people who are interested in alternative investments. So there's people who are doing cryptocurrency. There's people who are doing NFTs. You simply position yourself that, you know, your angle could be, there's three things in life you're always going to need. That people are always going to need: food, clothing, and shelter. If you're in any one of those businesses, you'll always be in business. People aren't going to starve. They're not going to run around naked, and they need someplace to put their head down. So I don't care if you're selling a one-room shack in a hovel. There'll be somebody. There's people who live in Kensington. Nothing against Kensington, but they can't live anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They can go down to Kensington with no credit, no money, and rent a room for $50 a week. Okay, very few people want to live in Kensington, but guess what? When it rains, I'm not wet. When it's cold, I'm not cold. Okay, that's how businesses operate. You have to find the angle to present to your particular audience, and that speaks to the fact that, to the point I was making earlier. You have to know who your audience is. Who are the people who do business with you? You said they were investors, right?
Yes.
So you gotta figure out, you know, the persona of that investor, their demographics, their age, their education, you know, how much money they typically invest. You find those kinds of people and you present what you're doing to those people, they're more inclined to talk to you. And especially if you have some success and you can show some success stories, they'll do that also. But if you're doing it digitally, if you're doing Facebook, are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook, but I don't have a Facebook business page yet.
Okay, so those are the things that you would have to set up first. I mean, you'll get your strategy together, and then you've got to find a way for people to find you. Facebook business page, your own website. You know, if you don't want to jump into the pool 100%, you can create a website, you know, on a platform like WordPress.com. It's free. You can get a free Wix site, a free Weebly site initially to get up and running and get familiar with it. You can go to Weebly.com, Wix.com, WordPress.com. These are places you can go where they'll offer you a free platform, but as soon as you possibly can, you want to buy your own domain name and have your own space. But that's what I would do.
So how much does the domain name cost?
$10 or less, if you know where to get it. So starting, that's the thing about digital. Right now, digital is still incredibly affordable. I mean, you can have no money and basically put a website up and send the right people there and make money. You know, generate revenue. I have a client that I met through Entrepreneur Works. I had a program called Start or Grow It. She came through Start or Grow It. She needed a LLC created. I showed her how to do that for how to set her LLC up for free. She had to pay for the fee, but I showed her how to do it. I talked to her today. She's in a home care agency business. She called me today and she said, "Hey, Bob, you remember I was in your class 5 years ago?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "How you been? I also manage your website. We haven't talked for a while." She said, "You know that last year I did $1.1 million. 1.1 million, small business, had an idea, came to a program similar to this one, started putting things in place, got her paperwork together, got her website together, started generating traffic, built her business, kept her vision. She did over $1.1 million last year. She's no different than anybody else sitting on this call. But you got to be a possibility thinker, and you have to be an action taker. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction all the time.
Every time.
It's never going to be better than it is today.
Bob, I have a question. Thank you. My name is Dee Dee. The information that you're going to give us for instructions, how soon do I expect to get it? And thank you.
I'm going to send out the access to it to Joe and Kevin tomorrow, and then basically, however they connect with you, email or whatever, they'll send you the link, and then you can just download it. And so I'll get that out to them tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get it
Well,
out
essentially,
tomorrow.
everybody registered for this program tonight, so we'll be able to distribute to everybody who registered.
Yep.
So, Bob, I want to ask you a question. I just want to point out a couple of things that you said this evening, and the one that I want to ask you to kind of elaborate on, just to make sure people understand what it is actionable data.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes people understand data, but and all too often I see people when they talk about or they try to create a marketing or branding strategy, they forget the actionable items, right?
Right.
So do me a favor, just talk to that a little bit to help people understand it a little bit better.
Okay, so one of the many advantages of operating in a digital space is that everything you do is measurable. You're not guessing. Years ago, print media and then radio media was a major way in which people advertised to get customers or to expose their brand. So when you go to a KYW or WHYY and you say, "Hey, I want to run an ad on your platform," they can give you certain information. They can say, our listening audience extends from, Delaware to the Poconos. They can tell you how many people are in that geographic area. They can tell you their broadcast signal and how many people listen to their broadcast at different times of the day. But that's it. They can't tell you, did that person take any actions? When you have a web property, a digital property, you can code the links that people are clicking on to know when they clicked and where they clicked from, which will tell you invaluable data. So I'm gonna, if I can, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna give you an example. Google offers a service for those of you who have a website. It's called Google Analytics or Google Search Console. These are all free tools that Google will provide you to help you to measure the effectiveness of your marketing efforts. Where's your traffic coming from? How many people are clicking? So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick to give you an example of this. Okay, this is actionable data. All right. This is Google Search Console. Google Search Console is a free tool offered by Google. You sign up for it, you configure it. Google will then start sending you data. All right. This is the business I showed you earlier, Night Out Vegan. Now she's moved to the DMV. Okay. She needs to figure out some things so that she can properly position her business. So what this is telling us is that in the last 3 months, let's change this to 30 days, 28 days. In the last 28 days, yeah, we'll do that. Let me change this. Why isn't that changing? Oh, because this is holding it. I can't change it. All right, we'll use the last 3 months. In the last 3 months, you got 54,100 impressions. 54,100 impressions. An impression means every time someone goes to Google and types in a search term that your website registers for, vegan meal delivery, vegan food, her site triggered 54,000 times in the last 90 days. She got 215 clicks, an average click-through rate of 0.4%, and her average position was 72.9. So Google, because she hasn't been doing anything, she hasn't written any new articles, she hasn't done anything. Google is going to tell us, here are the top queries, here are the things people search for: night out vegan, vegan meal delivery, vegetarian meal delivery. It's going to tell us the number of clicks, the number of impressions. Okay. It's also going to tell us, if we want to know, here's the average position that your website ranked at for that search term. So obviously for her business name, she's at position 1. Okay. For vegan meal delivery Philadelphia, remember we're going back 90 days, she was at position 1.8. Vegan food delivery, she's averaging 63.8, or that's her average position. Vegan food delivery Philadelphia was 5.6. This is going to give us actionable data because it's telling us what key phrases are people typing in that are triggering on your site and causing your site to pop up in Google. Where does your site pop up at? So if you're on the 4th page of Google, you need to be on the 1st page of Google. What do we have to do to take you from page 4 to page 1 for this search term? Because the money's on page 1, and this search term gets 500 visits a month. Because when you do the math, and for those of you who are in business who don't understand that math is your money, crunching numbers is how you make money in business. Okay, it's not a feel-good thing. It's about understanding the data and crunching the numbers. Okay, when you go to Google, just for everybody, when you're on Google, all right, so if I go here to search in any term, let's say somebody just name a business that they're in, a space. We'll do this little exercise, and then I'll take it. Kevin can finish up.
Publishing.
Say it again. Publishing. What kind of
Publishing.
What kind of publishing?
Well, I publish diverse picture books. I also have an adult book as well, coming out with another book for
Okay.
adults. Mm-hmm.
So are you doing the Amazon micro book thing?
Well, my books are on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, but I prefer
Okay.
people to go to my site because then I can earn more.
Small book publishing. All right. So if someone came to Google and typed in small book publishing, so you're just publishing the books, you're not authoring them, right?
I'm also an author as well. Yes.
Okay, so if I go to Google and I type in small book publishing, there's 4,900,000 results for that search term. 4,900,000 results, right? That's who the competition is, but not really, because that's a broad match. So if I put this in quotation marks and do an exact search match, that 4,900,000 went down to 22,900. Did you see that?
Yes.
This is the real competition.
How about like Black owned publishing?
So if
we can't see your screen. Can we see your screen?
Sorry about that. Here we go. Can you see the screen now?
Coming up. There you go.
Okay, so what I did was, if you didn't see that before, I did this. All right, she said small book publishing. So this is how you narrow down search. This is where the data, the numbers help you to understand what you're dealing with. So here's small book publishing. That's what she said at first, like small book publishing. That was our search. There are 4,900,000, actually 4,900,000,000 results for the search phrase small book publishing. That's a broad search term. What I did was I narrowed that search term down to what's called an exact match by simply putting quotation marks around this to find out what is the real competition. It's not 4 billion or 5 billion. So when I redo the search, okay, 22,900. That's the real competition, not 4,900,000,000. All right. Then the question was, what about Black owned? small book publishing, companies, because Google is auto completing. So there's 32 million results for that. We could do the same thing, but here are the ones that are ranking. Black-owned publishing companies, African American. This is ALBC. Then there's 5 Black-owned publishers you need to know about. 16 top African American book publishing. Notice the difference here. Black-owned, African American, Black-owned. So these are semantic keywords these are keywords you want to, try out, because some people say Black, some say African American, some say, they have different ways of codifying us, but you're seeing here that Google understands that African American and Black in this context means the same thing. They understand that. All right. So this is how you could do this search, and this is telling me here, because I have some additional software, there's only 50 searches a month for that search term. There's not a lot of traffic. All right. But this is how you understand numbers. So for me, if I was in this business, I'd be saying to myself, 50 searches a month don't mean a whole lot. Okay. I need to find out if there are other keywords that have a higher volume of search, because here's how this works. There's 32 million results for this. Here's the #1 company. They get 35% of all the clicks on this. When this comes up, they're #1. So if 50 people are searching for this, okay, they get 35% of all the clicks. This site here gets the next 20%. This site here gets, 12, 13%. If you're not anywhere in these top 3, you're not getting any traffic. It's only 50 searches per month. That's where knowing when I'm saying data driven. So this is telling me that this keyword is not if you're going to use paid search, that's what people are paying for. They're paying $4.41 a click. So if you have the budget and you go to Google and you say, I want to run that keyword in an ad, every time someone clicks on your ad, whether they buy something from you or not, you're going to pay Google $4.41. That's what that number means. All right, that's why paid advertising, I said earlier at the beginning of this conversation, SEO takes a little bit longer, but SEO doesn't cost anything. People want to run ads, you got to have deep pockets to run ads. So when I do ad campaigns, people are spending anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month just to start off, to make 6,000. They'll
So
spend
let me just
5
ask,
to make 6.
let me just ask everybody, is Bob making any sense to you guys, or do you guys need more information from Bob? Who needs more information? Raise your hand. Everybody should need more information. That was a trick question, but here. So there you go.
Thank you for that. And it totally makes sense, because a lot of my, the people that come to me is through word of mouth. And I was wondering why that was the case, but that makes sense with the competition. And so I look forward to, now the guy that you're gonna send us, Bob, is that gonna also talk about, in addition to how to set up your Google profile, the CEO, like the tips will be in that guide as well?
Nope, that's a whole separate
Okay, that's a whole
training.
separate thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But one of the things you can look at is, for you, if you're in this industry, when you go to Google, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, Google's going to tell you, all right, here are other terms that people are searching for. So top Black-owned publishing companies, Black publishing companies near me, publishers looking for Black authors, first Black poetry publishers. So you have to narrow it down. So if you're doing poetry, if you're doing novels, if you're doing fiction, nonfiction, you have to expand your imagination beyond just the core niche, because that's how people search. Okay, so if I'm looking for Black crime novels, if I'm looking for like if you watched Lovecraft,
Yeah.
it was on HBO.
Yeah.
Okay, well I love H.P. Lovecraft. Yep. Even though he was a racist and a misogynist, he was all those things. Okay, but I love his writing. So that appealed to me when it said, Lovecraft Country, whatever that show was. You've got to drill down and expand out your keywords to what other people will be thinking. So if you're in the book business, go to Amazon, look at all the book categories. Okay.
So,
And then, you know, export that and start doing your research on those things.
Okay,
So,
thank you
Bob,
so much.
I'm going to tap you for one more thing, Bob, because I think this is something that I want to get people to hear about how we market and how we brand, right? Talk to me a little bit about pricing. You kind of alluded to it earlier in your discussion, but one thing I try to get people to steer away from, because a lot of people think that the easy strategy is to have the cheapest price, right? And that's not the case. So talk to that for me for a minute.
Okay, so a fallacy is that I will be able to get into the marketplace if I can beat people on price. That's a short-term
To a quick death.
solution to a quick death of your business. Okay, and if I can find this, I'll try to find it if I can. I have a worksheet, or Mr. Boyd and I put together a worksheet that helps people to understand what their economic value is in their business. Okay, because if you don't know what you're worth, then you're gonna end up bankrupting yourself or getting very frustrated. So one way to ascertain what the value of your product or service is to go to Google and search for that product or service and see what people are charging, and then charge that price. The term is called the usual and customary fees. That doesn't mean you're a luxury brand, and it doesn't mean you're the cheapest. It means that this is the usual and customary fee for the service or the product that I'm providing. Okay, so if they go out and they look and say, you know, I think you're high, you tell them go and search the usual and customary fee for this service. They can go to Google and Google it. It'll say the usual and customary fee for XYZ is this. Okay, so if you're a book publisher, let's use that example. Usual and customary fee for book publisher. We'll do publishing costs. Here we go. All right, so this is how I do it. I've done it this way for years and years and years when I first started, because I tried that other method and I found out that if a service costs you $1,000 to perform it and you charge $200, are you doing $200 worth of work, or are you still doing $1,000 worth of work? If it costs $1,000 to do the work, you're still doing $1,000 worth of work, but you're only getting paid $200. So you feel dejected at the end of the process. You have no money, okay? And you end up creating an atmosphere where you attract a certain type of customer, okay? You don't want to do that. So I just did a search for the usual and customary fee for book publishing costs. Authors spend an average of $2,000 to $5,000 publishing their own books. That's the number, between $2,000 and $5,000. So if you charge $2,500, $3,000, you're in the range. If you charge $5,000, you're in the range. Now, if you just started out, maybe you start charging $2,000. But if someone does a search for this, they're not going to think that you're outrageous, because that's the usual and customary fee for that service. Whether I started yesterday or I started 10 years ago, $2,000 is what that costs. That's how you determine that. If you start pricing yourself less, you will attract people who cannot afford your services. Okay. Kevin and Joe and I were talking about cars when I first met them a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying to them that, you know, when I was younger, I'm old now, but when I was younger, I used to drive S-Class Mercedes. Now, S-Class Mercedes, you know, today, if I go out and buy an S-Class, entry level, $125,000. That's with nothing in it. That's not the one you see on TV. That's a base level S-Class, $125,000. Now, why do you drive an S-Class? You don't drive an S-Class because it gets good gas mileage. You don't drive an S-Class because You know, you are conscious of the environment. You ain't driving S-Class because it makes you feel good.
And it
You
makes
drive
you
an
look
S-Class.
good too.
You drive an S-Class because when you park your S-Class, this doesn't happen so much anymore, but you know, I'm a dinosaur. I started out in sales in 1984. Okay, where you would still go to lunch with your clients, you'd meet them downtown, you would do those types of things. So when I would drive downtown to meet a client, I park my car in the garage, give the guy $20 and say, I don't want you to take my car upstairs. Park my car on the first level. I would go to lunch with my client. I say, I'm parking here. We'd be waiting for our cars while they give their ticket. I give my ticket. My client and I are standing there. I see the attendant, give him a nod. He brings my S-Class out and pulls it up. My client looks at me, looks at that car, because I just told him, for you to do business with me, it's going to cost you X. The perception is consistent across the board. But that's how I understood that, and I built my life around. I built a lifestyle that had consistency. So I wasn't, you know, driving an S-Class Mercedes living with my mom. So if I had the client come to my house, I lived in East Oak Lane. I lived in a 7-bedroom house with four bathrooms. But I was young. I was building. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I was like working 80 hours a week. You know, but that's why you have toys, because these things position you to do other things. I didn't want cheap clients. I was in the insurance business when I first started out. I wasn't working for what was that insurance? North Carolina Mutual. I wasn't a North Carolina Mutual insurance salesman. I wasn't coming to your house every week collecting a premium. I was working for the New York Life Insurance Company. Okay, when I got hired for that job, they told me if you sell 10 policies a month, you'll make $100,000 a year. I was 26. My first year, I made $82,625. That was my first year. I didn't quite get to the 100, but I made $82,000 at 26. You know what kind of ego you have when you're 26 years old and you're making $82,000 in 1984?
In 1984, yeah.
In 1984, driving an S-Class Mercedes. You're like a god.
Yep.
Okay? Because no one around you has that. I'm saying this to say you cannot think cheap. There's a book out, I don't know whether it's still available in print. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. You know, if you don't have a library, I mean, I'm gonna say this, if you guys are entrepreneurs and business people, you gotta have a library. You gotta have things that you can tap into that are going to expand your horizons, that are gonna, you gotta have biographies of famous people, because everybody fails. Failure is not the end, failure is the beginning. When I became a professional salesman, I was taught this. You're not selling until the person says no. When they say no, that's when you begin selling.
Mm-hmm.
If they're just agreeing with you, you're having a conversation. When they say no, that's when you begin selling. If you're out there right now and you're selling a product or service and you're not getting sales, or people are saying, let me think about it, there's something wrong with your sales presentation. You don't have a sales talk. You don't have a sales talk. There's only 4 reasons that people don't buy. 4. Everything else is a smokescreen. There's only 4 reasons. They have no money. Doesn't matter how good your product or service is. I can't afford it because I don't have any money. They have no need. I don't need a new refrigerator. I don't need a new washing machine. I just bought one last week. As a matter of fact, the one I bought costs more than the one that you're selling me. I don't need what you have. I don't have any money. I don't need it. Reason number 3. You're trying to make a sales presentation. The person just called you up and said, hey, you know what? I got COVID. But you're like, well, yeah, okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but blah, 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 blah. You're trying to sell them under a condition that is not favorable to making a sale. You come over and the dog just pooped on the carpet. The kid threw up. And you're still, rather than saying, you know what? This doesn't seem like a convenient time. Rather than being a person that has compassion and empathy, you're trying to make the sale. They're not going to buy from you. Last reason, you are untrustworthy, or your product is a flim flam and they don't trust your product. They don't trust you or they don't trust the product. It's too good to be true. They're not going to buy from you. 4 reasons: no money, no need, no confidence. Okay. And you're trying to make a sale under a circumstance that is not conducive to selling. Anything else is an excuse, a smokescreen. When you understand that, you don't take no for an answer. See, I'm like Kevin and maybe like Joe. I don't know if Joe was in sales. I know Kevin was. We were taught to be killers.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving here until you sign this paperwork. You're buying something before I leave here. My time is valuable.
I didn't learn compassion until I was about 45.
Me too. Me too. We weren't trained that way. The other thing is that if you're not pre-qualifying people, we're talking about money. If you're not pre-qualifying people, then you're missing an opportunity. I pre-qualify everyone. I asked them, how soon are you thinking about starting this project? I need to know in my mind, are they just kicking the tires? Are they just shooting the breeze? Or is this something you're serious about? Have you established a budget? Well, what do you mean by budget? I said, my usual customary fee is between $2,000 and $5,000. Do you have that kind of budget? Well, I don't know if you're not a customer, you're not a client. You're failing my pre-qualification because one, I said you have to have money, you have to have need. This person doesn't, if they don't have the money and if it's not a pressing and urgent thing for them, why am I spending time talking to you? So I do all that on the phone. I do all that before we ever meet. I do that before we schedule a Zoom session. Because I want to know if you're an actual person who I can turn into a client. Because I have a number in my head. I know how much money I need to make. And every person who's coming through the factory has to equate to a certain amount of dollars. I'm not saying that to scare people off, but I'm in business. I've been in business since 1984. Okay. When you understand these things, you don't have to have a zillion clients. You can have a small cadre of clients and make a lot of money from those people. But you have to understand the data, the numbers. Every phone has a calculator on it. Learn how to use that, and you'll be good. I know I'm old school. I don't have any sugarcoating. I've been doing this for a long time. I've made money and lost money. I did a hip hop concert and lost $400,000. You know what I did the next day? Came back and told my wife, you know what? I lost $400,000 last night. We got to start over again. So I'm cranking it out. I'm going to work. She's like, don't you want to take some time off? I'm like, I can't afford to take any time off, girl. Got work to do. That's business.
That's business.
You know.
I have a quick question. With your services that you provide, I was wondering if you also evaluate websites, because I could imagine that, you know, in order to attract customers, your website also has to be on point.
Yeah, we do free audits. That's part of the 30-minute consultation. Those are the free things we do.
Awesome.
So, yeah, we do an audit and send you a report and says, okay, here's what needs to happen. You know, whether you hire us or not, it doesn't really matter. Here's what you need to do to fix stuff. And you know, that'll help you out and at least point you in the right direction. You'll know what's broken or what's working, and you can build on that. Yep. But I'll provide all that information to Joe and to Kevin, my contact information. I'll make sure that you guys get that. Google My Business, you know, how to set it up step by step. And I really encourage you guys to take action on that, you know, while it's free. Because the model of most companies is that they give stuff away for free until they reach a certain saturation point, and then they flip a switch. Then you got to pay. Okay. And the people who didn't have to pay are typically grandfathered in. Their accounts just keep going. All the new people have to pay. So these are, if you watch business trends, that's how they do things. Okay. All right.
Bob, I want to say thank you very much for tonight. You guys, I have to say, you know, we had over 50 people who registered. I feel sorry for those people that didn't show up. So hats off to everybody that showed up tonight. You guys have always been my strong and true followers. I know we gave you guys some good information tonight with Bob. So I will be passing on that information as soon as we get it from Bob. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tonight. Next month, I think, who do we have next month, Joe? Do we have somebody already lined up?
Yeah, I think we got Earl Boyd lined up.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So Earl Boyd will be on next month. You guys do not miss out. Make sure you tell all your buddies they need to be here. So we'll see everybody next month. Some of y'all see you before then.
You want to tune in for Earl?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's dynamic. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Everyone have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
you.
It was a great time. Thank you.